Rate the Flick with Ben O'Shea on 96 FM.
Good morning, Ben.
Hello, Ben.
Good morning. You ready to start your engines?
Well, you
Get
know,
them
I
revving?
love a good documentary.
Yeah, well, maybe
I like
Schumacher
a
is
good
not
documentary.
it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And so this is a documentary on Netflix about the German Formula One star Michael Schumacher. Holds the record for most number of World Driver Championships at 7, with Lewis Hamilton, who just cracked that same record recently. And so, of course, when you're talking about Michael Schumacher, it's impossible not to think about how his life was completely upended in 2013 with that terrible skiing accident in Mirabel in France, which left him in an induced coma for 4 months and really saw him disappear from the public eye. We haven't seen or heard anything really about Michael Schumacher for, what is that, eight years?
Just sort of like tidbits, isn't it?
Yeah.
That come out.
And so the idea of this documentary coming out would make a lot of people think, oh, okay, we're going to see where he's at, because you know, he's such a big figure in motorsport, and so little is known about the last 8 years of his life. But this film does not touch on that at all, really, because it's made in such close collaboration with his family. At the end of the film, the filmmakers acknowledged that it could not have been made without his wife, without his 2 kids, without his manager, who he had a very close relationship with. And what that basically means is they signed off on everything. And so at all times, it's painting this really, I guess, flattering and very superficial portrait of him, and it doesn't really scratch the surface. Like, to put it in, I guess, motoring terms, it'd be like, you know, like you want your mechanic to pop the hood, get in there and really see what's making the engine tick. But instead, they're like a Formula One pit crew, and it's like tyres go on, a bit of fuel goes in, and you're gone in a couple of seconds.
There was a pace car the whole time.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally. And it's amazing that for a film that was about the bloke who still holds the record for the most fastest laps in a single season of F1, this film has major pace issues.
It really does.
No, and it is quite freaky that he got injured in a recreational sense with a guy who had such a dangerous profession.
Yeah,
you know what I
If
mean?
you
Like,
didn't know that, you're not going to find that out in the doco.
Oh, really?
No, they really hardly go into that
How
at all.
bizarre.
And his son was 14 years old and skiing with him at the time, and the son is in this doco.
In his early 20s.
But he doesn't talk about it at all,
that's
what that
weird.
experience was like, which is just unbelievable. And the other interesting thing about it is, so it really focuses on his first few years driving for Ferrari, because he had a lot of success driving for Benetton back in the early days when Ayrton Senna was still driving, and it touches on Ayrton Senna's fatal crash, but only so superficially.
Blink and you miss it.
Blink and you miss it.
Yeah.
And Michael Schumacher was actually chasing Senna on the track at the time when the accident happened.
Yeah.
And so he won 2 world championships with Benetton, and then jumped ship to Ferrari, which was a bit of a basket case at the time. And so the doco kind of focuses on those years where he built Ferrari up to the first world championship with Ferrari in 2000. And then that takes up basically 85% of the runtime of the film. It leaves, I'm not even joking, it leaves 20 minutes for everything that happened after the year 2000.
I checked the time to see, thinking, when are we going to get to the bit? And it's like it's had 7 minutes, 14 minutes to go, and I'm thinking, you're kidding?
It's
they're
crazy.
going to cram it in.
And so not only do they not talk about the skiing accident in any great detail, they don't talk about his life after racing. They don't really touch on the fact that he won 4 more championships.
Right.
That's just covered in literally, I think, a minute as they go, and he won and they're all consecutive. That was the other amazing thing about it. Oh, and he won in 2001 and 2002 and 2003 and 2004.
Brushed over.
Okay, and that's it. And that was probably the most dominant period of any driver in F1 history, where there was one season there where he was on the podium for every single Grand Prix,
incredible.
And he won the Drivers' Championship with 6 races to go, like an insane level of dominance. And so you don't really get a sense of what motivated him very much, although you do get a little hint, I guess, don't you reckon, Lisa, that he wasn't always a very good sport.
Well, I mean, I remember Schumacher's period in sport, and I didn't like him as a sportsman. I didn't think he was a good sportsman. I mean, yes, he was arrogant. That you get that, especially in motor racing.
Well, you get
but
it in
I
motor
didn't think he
racing,
was a good sportsman. He did some things that I thought were a bit dubious.
Yeah, well, crashed Damon Hill
Crashed
off
Damon
the track.
Hill off just out of his spite. If I can't have it, nor can you.
Makes me think of the most recent Italian Grand Prix. We won't check to see if the other guy's okay. We'll just vettle our way off the track.
Well, exactly.
How bizarre.
He was the sort of, like if things don't go his way, he like throws his toys out of the car.
right.
Kind of a character.
There's a few of those blokes in GP racing. Yeah.
But you just don't really get to understand where that came from, because the film is made, by
That's what I was hoping to
his wife
see.
and kids.
Yeah.
But this is disappointing because the Michael Jordan one, the most recent one, had some issues. issues, but it was really good, I thought,
and
as a
I think you
basketball
saw
fan.
what drove him, and
Okay.
it didn't make
That's
any
what a
illusions.
documentary's for, yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the thing. Maybe
Okay.
this needed to be told across
This is
a
a
series.
lifetime movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, you know, like he had 91 Grand Prix victories. He had such a long career, and over a span that included Ayrton
incredible.
Senna and Nigel Mansell.
Yeah,
at the
that's
start,
right.
And then
Some
probably
of the
like
greats.
Lewis Hamilton at the other end.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
he
Yeah.
covered so many years.
He was the champion link.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but you just don't get any sense of it. Like I would say, if you want to watch a Formula One documentary, watch Senna. Like to me, that is a phenomenal one. Or even the Netflix series F1 Drive to Survive, which is really great as well.
Yeah.
Schumacher. The thing is, it's on Netflix, so you can watch it. It's not really going to cost you anything. It's pretty easy to do. Interesting enough, like a bit of a snapshot in time. Motorsport fans will find something to like about this. But if you love a good documentary, you're going to find some problems with this one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
So
how many are you giving
Checkered
it?
flags.
How many-
I'm going to give this one 2 checkered flags.
Two, just the
Very,
two.
very
A
decent.
couple of loose nuts there in the in the pit lane. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks,
See you
Ben.
guys. Ben
Hey,
O'Shea.
Fun fact about the Senna documentary:
Yeah.
watch very closely to the scenes around the pits at the Adelaide Grand Prix, and
Oh,
you
yes.
will see our very own Russell.
Ah, yes, I did.
not
I did know
kidding.
that. Our own Russell Clark.
Yeah.
Just hanging out. He was a good girl.
He was a great guy.